Hello, everyone, and welcome to our show today, Faith in Your Creativity with Barbara Ledbury. Barbara, would you introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Sure. My name's Barbara Ledbury. I live near Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a packaging engineer. I work for Train Technologies. Yes, it's hard to stop a train, heating, cooling,
Yeah.
and and that's what I do. I design specifically returnable packaging going into manufacturing plants.
So, very technical field.
It is a very technical field, but
Yes.
it's also a creative field.
Yes. Has a lot of design involved.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you
Creative
find,
problem solving, I call it.
yeah, creative problem solving. I love it. Did you find you had a hard time believing you were a creative person?
I did. Even as a young person in school, I never really felt like I could draw very well.
No,
And
me
so I
either.
and so I really thought that I linked creativity to art.
Yeah.
And I never considered myself an artist.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was a little bit of a block for me for a while, but eh, I did learn early on that I had a talent for music.
Ah.
I taught myself how to play the piano as a child, with a chart that sat in front of the keyboard and told you what the notes looked like on paper. And pretty soon my mom started to realize that I was playing the piano and I hadn't had any lessons. And so maybe she
Wow.
could get me some piano lessons. And then, of course, I joined orchestra and played clarinet in that. And later, as a young adult, I picked up a guitar and kind of taught myself how to play guitar. And so that is creative,
Very
right?
creative. Very
Music is
creative.
creative.
Yeah. So that pretty much opened the door for you to find that inner expression.
It did, and that I was like I had some natural talent for
Yes.
it, you know?
Yes.
The other thing that I discovered, early, like still in high school probably, that I had a affinity to textiles, and I learned how to sew.
Mm.
I sewed a lot of my own clothes. I did embroidery, and now, I have learned how to knit and weave, and I love expressing creativity through textiles, different textures and
Yeah.
colors, and putting things together like that.
Yeah. Where do you think that inner creativity comes from?
Oh, so I think that some of it is maybe an innate or natural talent
Mm-hmm.
that a person has. Um, and I think sometimes it's hard to discover what that is. We put ourselves in boxes.
Yes.
No pun intended, being a packaging engineer, but we put ourselves in boxes and think, like I can't draw, so therefore I can't be an artist, therefore I am not creative.
Right.
Um, kind of like limiting ourselves with our belief system. And yeah, so I think finding a passion, something that we're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I loved music. I love still to
Yeah.
listen to music, um, and dance, and so music. It was kind of an innate talent for me, I think.
Yeah. Do you believe or feel like there's a inner essence that's connected to creativity? Something, maybe some people might call it a soul, some people might call it intuition, some people might call it your inner voice.
Um, I think that I think that definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling a connection to that. Um, I think that probably faith,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's faith in like a higher power or creative force of the universe kind of thing,
Right.
or if it's just faith in yourself that, I'm not going to look like a fool. I'm not going to fall on my face.
Right.
Or if I do, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I can pick myself up and say, oh, well, that didn't work.
I mean, I was a figure skater when I was young, so I fell a lot.
Yeah. 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 Do you think there's other elements that are involved in creativity?
I do. So I think that, when I think about being able to access creativity, some of the things that I don't really know how I can say that I access it other than being open,
Ah,
being open to possibilities.
yes.
And when I'm closed off, and even now, there's times I go through that I feel closed off. I feel stuck. I feel maybe shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And in those times, it's hard to access creativity. Um, so I think that being open
Yeah.
and being open to possibilities allows creativity to flow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I know in life, sometimes I too feel so constrained, either by the circumstances that I find myself, well, that I created most of the time, uh, or when that feeling of constraint and being stuck comes on, even taking small steps forward, 15 minutes to clean a closet, 10 minutes to fold some laundry, just starting something can start to activate that. Do you think?
I do think so. I am attempting. No, I'm not attempting. That's like trying, right?
Yeah,
I am working on a book.
I know that, and that's creative, although
It
it's a
is.
technical topic.
It is a technical topic that I feel I have a lot of knowledge
Yes,
to share, but I doubt my writing ability,
yes,
and I have never expressed myself through writing. Um, Even journaling, and I know a lot of people use journaling as
yeah.
a um, self-development and self-expression technique.
Mm-hmm.
It's never really been my thing, journaling.
Yeah,
So I do find this journey I'm on with writing um, to be kind of interesting. I get stuck.
yeah.
I get self-doubt. Um, I get some
Fe-
fear.
Fear, fear.
Is anybody gonna
Yeah,
read it? Is it interesting to anyone but me? I'm kind of a box
yeah,
nerd, so
yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of math involved, I know, in your packaging. And but math is kind of a elegant language and expression also, isn't it?
well, math and music are very often linked.
Yeah.
People who have music ability
Hmm.
um, can navigate math easier.
Yeah.
And I think people who are mathematical thinkers, even if they haven't tried, could be musicians.
Yeah, I think you're right. So you find yourself sitting down to type and you're starting to feel blocked and stuck. Writer's block, I suppose authors call that. Isn't that exciting to say, I have writer's block?
it's it's a new thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And to visualize yourself that way.
Yes, and actually, I've been finding that visualization in meditation is really been helping me
Yeah.
because I have a pretty clear vision of what the world would be like if there was less packaging material clogging it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our environment, our world, the ice
Yeah.
caps, the ocean cleanliness, and right.
I know sustainability is important to you.
It really is,
Yeah.
and so my vision, I keep thinking, if not me, who, right?
Right.
If I don't do it, nobody else is getting information out there for companies to help make that decision about returnable packaging. So I think the time is now. I think
Yeah.
that it's needed. And when I keep that vision in front of me instead of thinking about myself
Yes.
and thinking about what my vision for the world is, I um, get over myself.
Yeah. 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 It taps you into that creativity again.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. How do you think surrender fits in to creativity?
Surrender is very important part of the creative
Yeah.
process, because if I'm trying to control the outcome, whether it's working on a weaving,
Mm-hmm.
I might have a vision of what I want the finished piece to look like. But if
Yeah.
I try to control and perfect every stitch,
Mm.
I'll never finish,
Yeah.
because what's perfect? I mean,
Yeah.
really very little that's handmade or hand painted or hand crafted doesn't have imperfections. And I think the imperfections are what make it totally perfect.
Yeah. I think you're right. In fact, this is a good time to interject that I'll be releasing episode 6 before our episode because the guest has an offer that comes up in March. So anyway,
Oh, yeah.
I'm building in some imperfection right from the
Yes.
get-go.
And that's good,
Yeah,
because you're going
exactly.
with the flow,
Exactly. I'd already
right?
called it episode 6, so it was, I mean, can't change that.
No,
Oh, well, a real talented person could probably edit their video, but I'm not. That's not me. That's just not me. Yeah.
knowing our limitations is also important in our
Yeah.
creativity, right?
Yeah.
I started playing piano in just a small coffee house band kind of thing, just a group of coworkers that
Yeah.
are musicians that, we're totally keeping our day jobs because we're not going
Yeah.
to go on the road anytime ever.
Yeah.
But I can't think of where I was going with that.
Well, it
The
bring
flow?
yeah, the flow and joy. I think
And
the joy of it
yeah, because
and imperfection.
we are not perfect, but
Yeah.
we have so much fun. And the people that come to hear us have fun,
Yeah.
whether we're any good or not.
Yeah.
We are exuding fun. We are having fun. We're
Yeah.
exuding fun, and
Yeah.
therefore our audience is having fun too.
Yeah. And I think that is or can be a big element of creativity is that joy, that connection to the joy of creating it, the expression of creating it, that it came out of me and now it's out there.
Right? But
Yeah.
I think that coming from a space of any kind of emotional expression
Hmm.
is um, is okay, right?
Yes.
I had a roommate once who listened to me. I came home after a tough day at work, right?
Yeah.
And I was angry and frustrated. And I started playing the piano, and I was playing very hard. I was hitting the keys hard. I was playing loud, hard music.
Yeah.
And what they noticed and what I experience now is that my emotions are kind of transmuted through the process of playing, because by the time I was finished playing, I was playing soft and flowing and melodic, like
Yeah.
the temperature, not temperature, the loudness, the volume
Yeah.
would flow with the music flow, and you know So,
Not
yeah,
fighting it in it.
you can write or paint or
Yeah.
play the piano angry
Yes.
and express
Absolutely.
your emotions through your art
Yeah.
or through whatever it is, and even writing,
Yes.
and then have that energy, that emotion transmute through the process.
The shift.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I think that's where the surrender also comes in. Letting go.
exactly.
Yeah. Letting go, letting it be. It's not my deal today. Do you have any tips for our audience on utilizing creativity in their life?
Yeah, so I would suggest to people is, what are you interested in?
Yeah.
Are you a reader? Do you love to listen to music? Do you love to be outside? Could it be gardening, flower gardening? I get a lot of joy out of flower gardening. I really do. They're
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, right? I create a beautiful space around me.
Yeah.
Um, uh, what are you interested in? What are you passionate about?
Yeah.
Right? Because for me, my vision and my passion about sustainability and about the impact on the planet and the life on the planet, right? Animals, mammals,
Yeah.
ocean life, humans, is fuels me. Right? When I
Yes.
get stuck and when I get frustrated or I don't think I'm good enough or whatever of those things
Yeah.
that keep me in my box are. And then explore and find what you have a natural talent for, what comes
Yeah.
naturally. Because I think that if I tried to make myself draw, I would not be a happy camper,
Right.
right? I would
Yeah.
not get into any kind of flow. I would not have any type of surrender because my self-critic would be blaring at me all the time, right? I try to keep that critic quiet as it is. I
Yeah.
don't need to try and make myself talented at something I'm not.
Yeah.
So I think, finding where your natural talent is. Is it a green thumb that you have unexplored or not discovered yet? Or, is
Yeah.
it dancing? Who knows?
And starting by being still and letting that come up. Maybe we told ourselves, well, you're a professional worker, you have a demanding job. We all have demands, whether we're at home with kids all day and family. It can be easy to put all that kind of stuff last and say that's not
Mm.
important, when actually it can fuel your energy to do those other important things in life.
Well, and when we feel better about ourselves, does that not get conveyed to
Yeah,
our loved ones
yeah,
or to our coworkers or the people
yeah,
we're in contact with at the grocery store, you know?
right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. Do you have any follow up comments?
Oh, let's see. What would I tell you? Oh, so do you have time for a quick story?
I do.
All right.
Please.
So I had a business degree.
Yes.
And I worked mainly for the University of North Dakota in different departments. Was self-taught. That seems to be a theme for me.
It does.
Self-taught kind of in graphic arts, right? So there's some
Yeah.
creativity, right? I was making brochures, doing newsletters, reports that needed graphics and
Yeah.
design and stuff involved in it, and found I had a knack for it.
Yeah.
And so at some point in my career, I decided to move to Wisconsin for family reasons. I was moving to Wisconsin to help my family, my sister's family, actually. And in that process, decided I should probably go back to school.
Mm.
And instead of pursuing like an MBA, at the time, everyone had an MBA and they really
Yeah.
didn't make any more money than a BA did.
Yeah.
Um, so I couldn't see the investment of time and money to go back to school just for an MBA.
Yep.
So I went to the university and where I lived in Wisconsin and talked to them about a graphic arts program that they had. And thought, well, I've got this kind of self-taught skill set. What if
Right.
I became a degreed graphic artist? And in the process of talking to that admissions person, they said, we have this packaging program. I think you should go talk to the director. And so I did. And he said, Barbara, I really think this would be the career for you. The investment of time and money in a different career path will pay back in spades.
Yeah.
And your creativity can be expressed in it. So I graduated 2 months before my 40th birthday. So if
Aha.
there's anyone listening to your show that is considering going back to school, I would say those are the kinds of things to consider. The time and money to invest. So I had to, stop earning and
Right.
learn. So
Right.
there was a opportunity cost to it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there was also the cost of the tuition and books and living while I was in school. But I tell you, I have never regretted the decision. I have only always increased my income in this field. Of course, it helps. There's only 4 schools in the country that have packaging degrees, but
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Anyway, uh, it is a perfect field for me because it takes my logical, mathematical problem solving along with my creative talents and creative problem solving. And phew,
Marries them.
it's been wonderful. It's been
Marries them.
wonderful.
I did that too. I went back to college late in life. It was 93 when I graduated. So, yes, audience, if there's anybody out there thinking, should I or shouldn't I, follow your heart.
Follow your heart, follow your passion.
Yeah.
Um, I'd never worked in a factory. And I tell you, I love being in factories now. I find them fascinating. I find all of the processes fascinating that go into making stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but in one particular time, I worked for Harley Davidson in a factory in Pennsylvania, and I was rushing through the plant, a million things on my brain like usual, and going to this specific place to look at these parts and this packaging. And all of a sudden, this beautiful motorcycle went past me on the assembly line. And I went, oh, right. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
And the connection to the joy that people get riding those beautiful motorcycles and the
Yes.
relaxation and the fun.
Yep.
Well, I know that you work for someone and don't have your own business, but if somebody wanted to follow you on Facebook or Instagram and ask you more questions about packaging or your degree or your book, where could they find you?
All right. You can find me on Facebook. Barbara Ledbury. Mooresville, North Carolina is where I live. So if there's other Barbara Ledburys, I'm not in England. It's an English name. So there's some
Yeah.
Barbara Ledburys in England. That's not me. I'm
Yeah.
in North Carolina. But I also am just starting construction of a website
Oh, wonderful.
because I'm going to put my book out there on the
Hmm.
website. I'm going to be writing, I've published one blog and I'll be writing some more blogs. And it's Bledbury, B.
Oh, I
Ledbury,
like it.
BledburyConsulting.com.
Wonderful.
Consulting is going to be my my retirement gig.
Yeah.
You know,
Along with your band.
yeah, I'll be playing music and
Yeah.
transforming the world of packaging.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here with
Oh,
us
it's been a
today.
pleasure. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
I've enjoyed it so much. And for my audience, you can find me on Facebook as well, Vicky Dawn, VICKIDAWN, Coach. And you can find me on my website, vickydawn.com. And thank you. And as I sign off, I do want to comment that our next show will be on judgment.
Ooh.
It was supposed to be on clearing the clutter, but that's the one that I'm moving up. Or I might have these two backwards too, because,
You're going to go with the flow and do it the
I'm
way
going to
it
go with the
seems
flow.
natural.
Yeah. So whatever comes out emerges. So goodbye until next time. Remember, you create your beautiful life one moment, one step at a time. Thank you for being with us.